Kadosh, everybody welcome. B'ezrat Hashem, ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה דסייעא דשמיא, מכל המסובים. בעזרת השם יתברך, ברכה, הצלחה לקריר דניאל בן מיכאל, וגם ניסים בן בכור, בעזרת השם תתחתנו בשנה הזה, וגם אליהו בן בכור, ברכה, הצלחה, וגם חתונה בשנה הזה, בעזרת השם. וגם תברך את אברהם ארקדי בן אולגה, הקדוש ברוך הוא תשלח לו אשת חיל, בעזרת השם תתחתנו בשנה הזה, וכן יהי רצון ורומר אמן. 1000 הבדלות בין המתים לחיים, לעילוי נשמת כל הנפטרים ונפטרות. ומפרט, the shiur was sponsored by the Janet Bat Miriam Vashukra Hasomech. B'ezrat Hashem, let Hashem lift her soul, b'zchut and the merit of the limud that we're doing. V'chen yeh ratzon v'nomar amen. We continue with our Emunah v'bitachon. Emunah, which means how a person needs to have. What's the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how does he work, in which way he works, what he's able to do for the person. Hata'ava rak mistateret v'lo mashkichim. He says a desire, if a person have a great desires in the world, which is each one of us have, Habitu ra'u et asher ne'emar tamid, ki or ha'emunah lo kava etzel am yishurun. It says Jewish people, generation to generation, they believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rak tiridot artzonot choshech ba'adam shelo ra'u v'lo yakiru. It says the only problem have when we're Jewish people, we have a problem with the tiridot, which means we are so busy with the life, v'rotzonot, and desires and wants. Tichashech ba'adam shelo ravu v'lo yakiru. He says the eyes become darker, we cannot see, and we cannot understand what's happening. Lachem ba'et tzar lahem rachmanan litzlan. He says when a Jewish nation become in a very pain and suffering position, kayed nechochit Yifaneh batzom babechi leHashem. When a Jew, when an Eden is very in a tsar, in a pain and suffering, chas v'shalom, he says right away he start fasting and he start crying to Hashem. Ki emunah tmuna netuna b'chadrei chadarim. He says emunah with us in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have inside of our hearts, but it's very hidden. It's very hidden. V'al adam lo tziyeh chutza. He says Emunah needs to come out outside, which just means each one of us have great potentials, but that potential, it's inside tamun, which just means it's hidden. He says once we're able to work in our Emunah, we're able to count this Emunah from inner to the outer. Ka'ed nitorer sinal Israel belibot yoshvim benehem. Lama. He says, why Jewish people, we have a hatred towards each other. Sometimes we hate people for no reason. Maybe he's successful more than others. Maybe he have a better mishpacha, which just means better family than others. But each one of us have a package, we need to know that. And he says, each one of us, he says, Lama itorer sinal Israel balibot hayoshvim benehem. Why we have a hatred between each other? Hello, we come from one, from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The only way we have a hatred because we have separation. Because we separate, Balatanya says, in the Perek, I think, 31, it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one. Yes, we all believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one, yes. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu one, he says Jewish people is one. No. We're 14 million Jewish people. We're 14 million. He says the body, Balatanya says, the bodies are 14 millions. But the neshama is one spread through 14 million bodies. But we come from one source. We all have to do the same thing that each Jew have to do. So when we ask the Jew, please come to Shurim. He says, I'm old. It's for young people. Shiur is not for young and shiur is not for old. Shiur is for everybody. Like Yeshua says in Perek Aleph, V'agita bo yomam v'layla. We have to learn day and night. So what if somebody cannot learn during the night? The reason somebody cannot learn because he's all the time busy. Hayoshvim b'nehem lama yesh lanu sinah. He says, why we have hatred towards each other? Mipnei she'em muvdalim ufurashim mehem. Because we want to do different from others. Im ken kasher nirtzeh l'rafod machala ze nitzrak la'asir makor machala. He says, in order for us to know where the sickness is, we need to go to source and a source of the problem. If we don't know the problem, how are we able to fix the sickness of the person? How are we able to heal person if we don't know the sickness of the person? He says, why do we have hatred towards each other? Why is that? L'rafod machala, we need to know where the sickness comes from. L'chen tzarich la'asir hapirud. He says the sickness comes because we are separate. We separate from each other. We separate. Am Israel, Am Echad. When we are together, nobody able to touch us, nobody able to control us. But when we are separate, that's what everything comes in. He says the whole sickness because we are separation. Right? We have sometimes 10 people in the Bet Knesset, Chas v'Shalom, and all 10 people, they all argue. You're only 10. You're not thousands. Those 10s even argue. So he says this is the machala. Tzarich li'Yisrael chadash b'mekomot. Makor machala tzarich la'asir hapirud. Emunah ma aseh hayehudi im hador hachadash b'mekomot. Kiblu al atzmam lishmor Shabbat shelo yichlu tarefot. He says one of the things a person has to know, he needs to keep Shabbat and he has to eat kosher stuff. So this is one of the things, two things brings a person separation. How can we see this in the religious figures also they're separate? The reason is why? Because he does not keep Shabbat and he does not keep a proper kosher food. Kasher sipu lanu yididenu, hasaba mislavot kashibo lifne lepe mekovna, v'tima rabba ketzet bakshu lirapot machala bechizuk shoresh dahainu apirud. So they ask the Saba Mislavotka, how are you able to fix the separation between the Jewish nation? We have a separation, and that's why we don't have Bet HaMikdash. Al korchacha titgale lanu sod ki ruach hanuva tamun balev adam v'Yisraeli etzem emunah mishoresh bekirbo le'amin. He says inside each one of us we have a big emunah. It's inside our heart. Lachen kasher rakitzu mi'ad mishnotam. He says all we need to do is wake up a little bit. A wake-up call. What do you mean? I'm waking up. That's not called wake-up call. That's calling busy. A person is busy. In this parasha Shavua, we learn parasha Bo. One of the work was done in Mitzrayim, work with the kash. Kash, which just means with the hay. Which just means hay, you feed the animals. And you make the ground. And the Chachamim says, kash is nothing. He says, everything in this world, the Goyim trying to do, disturb us from everything has to be a touch from Hashem. The Mashgiach said following today, somebody put in a sock, a funny sock, he puts it on his foot, he puts it on a social media, 1,000 people looking, somebody put a sock, and everybody looking. Chachamim said, the Goyim trying to do everything lachish that there's no Hashem. If we have all these things to be busy, we cannot be busy with Hashem. We cannot wake up because we need to wake up. And the time of Mashiach is the wake up time. I'm not Navi, I'm not Bnei Navi, I'm not a prophet, my father was not a prophet. The Chachamim said, Tzarod mitgavrim, which just means the pain and suffering becomes more and more for the Jewish people. So he says, pirut, separation, that's what we have to work on. Achdud, yachad. בחריפות וגיטיפות עם מקומי הדת והחוקים, אשר דמינו כל שם ישראל לא ראו לכם. אתה נתגלל בעליר כי זזבתני השמש, כאשר הסירו מה משנתנו מרגישים כל הנבואה נתנו לנו ממרום להאמין בהשם. There's a says in the Gemara, in a couple places, one of the Masechet Eruvim, Yud Gimel, Masechet Shabbat, Masechet Baba Metzia, Kol Yom Yotze Bat Kol. Every day the heavenly voice comes out. Oy, and it says that Machrivim et Olamo. It says, they're the one who breaking my world. We need to hear this voice. But we don't hear voices. If somebody hear voices, they're going to say it's a shoite. Shoite, which means crazy. The voices that we're talking about over there, Chachamim said, the Emunah voices inside of us that we need to arouse it, which means we have to poel it, which means it's not functioning. Lami nimtza b'divrei Talmid Rabbeinu Avraham kativ vayishlach Yaakov malachim lifnei Esav achiv. It says about Yaakov Avenu. Vayishlach Yaakov. Yaakov sends malachim, angels, to the who? In front of the Asaph, his brother Asaph. Excuse me, in Parashat Toldot we know Yaakov Avenu, he has a brother, Asaph. Why he has to repeat the word is my brother? Why he has to repeat? ואחר כך כתוב וישתחו ארצה 7 פעמים עד גשתו עד אחיו. And in a continuation in a verse says, Yaakov Avenu, he bows down to the Asaph, his brother. He does not say Asaph, he says brother. First it says Asaph, brother. Then a continuation of the word says only brother. In the Torah, don't forget, there's nothing extra and there's nothing less. ויש להבין מדוע בתחילה כתוב עשיו אחיו ואחר כך לך אחיו. Says, why in the beginning it says my brother Asaph, then afterwards it says brother. אמר המדמור כי העניין כי ידע יעקב היא האחווה תמונה בלב עשיו רב מכוסה בעשיו הרשע. He says, and inside the Asaph heart, he has hidden love towards me. But he acting like a, not brother, he's acting like a wicked person. Esav Rasha. Midotov ra'od meod. Esav, his characters and traits are very, very bad. לכן תתחכם עצמו וישלח מתנות ליסר האחרון האף. He says, Yaakov Avenu, when he meets Asaph, the first thing he does, he sends him gifts. Once he sends the gifts, whatever the anger towards Yaakov Avenu have, comes down. ואחר כך נשתחווה לפניו 7 פעמים. Afterwards, Yaakov Avenu bows down to Asaph 7 times. בפעם האחרונה, שר עשיו מעלה נשאר אחיו. He says 7 times, Yaakov Avenu bowed down. There's many secrets why he's bowed down. Masechet Sukkah, in page 52, it says, Yetzer Hara have 7 names. He took out the Yetzer Hara of the Asaph. That's why we also put a tefillin, 7 straps, with choking the Yetzer Hara with the 7 names. So that's why 7. 7 has a big number in the Judaism. And he says when he started bow down to Asaph 7 pa'amim, 7 times, then he called him Achi, my brother. Why? לכן בתחילה אמר עשיו אחיו, ואחר כך כתוב גשתו עד אחיו. He says in the beginning was the bad Asaph. At the end, when he did, he took out the sinah, the hatred, and he made him achiv. Even to the Asaph we see through the Torah, if one of the wicked person is able to change himself. עוד נמצא רבי אליהו לפיאן, אמר לי כי בכלם שמע בסבא, שאומר יש בן אדם שוקים כל כך ברע, עד לפעמים הם טוענים כבר לא שייך אצלם כוח הבחירה. Sometimes a person could be so bad that he has no choice in this world. אך הסבא אומר כי כוח בחירה הוא לעורר את טוב הצפון עדיין בליבם. He says no, even if a person bad, he has inside of him כוח הבחירה. He has a free choice of to בוחר, to pick and choose for the good. Even a person bad, he has a choice to pick for good. I have one of my doctors, he's a surgeon for the foot doctor, and he calls me yesterday, he texts me, Rabbi, Be'ezrat Hashem, I spoke to my friend, you're going to do Brit Milah for his son. He wants only rabbi from Bukhara, he's a lawyer himself, he wants to do for you to do Brit Milah. I said, I'm sorry, doctor, you could do Brit Milah yourself. Why don't you do it yourself? Why are you giving it to me? He says, the problem is, he wants to do with the camera, with the music and everything. Okay, I said, that's what everybody else does. The only problem is, his wife is not Jewish. So that's why I want you to do it. So I told him, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. Allahically speaking, you're allowed to do it. But they want a rabbi to do it. So that shows everybody else the child is Jewish, if we're going to do it publicly. And he says, remember one time I saw you, I didn't even know him back then. I saw you one time in a mill basin in Brooklyn in a reform shul. You did a Brit Milah for somebody goy. And I saw you. I said, yes, I did it. After that, Hashem sent me right away a punch. I hit some guy over here, turning this way, right here, this block. I hit some guy with the car. And I never said I would do again. Even he married to the, not marriage, there's no marriage. I would never do such a thing, Allahically speaking. And that's what I explained to him. I said, I'm not going to do it. You find somebody else and you do it. He says, what if they're in the process of having a geirut? I said, if you find out that, if that's the case, there's something else. Then he calls me and says, no, they're not in the process of no geirut, no nothing. I said, of course you do it, and he's Be'ezrat Hashem going to do it. Why I'm telling you? Sometimes a person, he has the choice. And we all the time have a choice what to pick. We could choose good, or we could choose bad. So it then depends on us. להשלים הדברים לציין מה שאביא הלב אליהו. בלב אליהו פירוש שיר למעלות ממקים קראתיך. In the Tehillim 130 it says following. Tehillim 130 we read between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we read this Tehillim between the Ishtabach. שיר למעלות ממקים קראתיך. Sefer Yitzirah says why we're reading for 10 days, represents Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, and so on, that we're able to bring the mochin, which means intellect. Shamati מגאון רב שמחה זיסל שאומר, לכל איש ישראל יש נקודה קדושה עמוקה בלבו, אף תמונה מכוסה באפר חומר. He says, from the pasuk of the Tehillim 130, שיר למעלות ממקים קראתיך, he says, each Jew has inside of his heart kedusha, holiness, inside, hidden. But it says, michusa ba'afar, it's hidden with the dust. Chomer, which means physical. אבל מגיע למצב יתגלה נקודה עמוקה ליבו, אז קראתיך השם. He says, once he's able to open the heart for the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then he calls HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Karaticha LaHashem. Karaticha Hashem. I will call Hashem. So each one of us, don't forget, we have inside of us. We have to just work on that. How are we going to work on that? By studying what we're studying. If we're not going to study, we could never work on that. We just got used to it, the mitzvot, and that's it. Finish. I'm doing it, everybody else does it, and that's it. There's no gvul. Guys, there's no limit. The sky is the limit. There's no limit. Whatever we could do, there's no limit. The problem is, we have a desire to do it or not. If we believe so much, we could do anything and everything in this world. If we want to. Nobody gonna stop us. Not my wife, not my kids, not my mother, not my father, not my relatives, not my business partners. Oh, the whole package. Nobody. If we really wanted to do it. אין דבר עומד מפני הרצון. Nothing stands if we want. But unfortunately, the goyim and the whole business that we have right now in the social media, it's every time busy. We're busy. The mind is busy. Cannot concentrate. You know what bothers me sometimes? Mr. Milamid over here, sometimes coughing. He's a chazan. Nobody have a brains to go and take water. We're so busy even with the prayers. Inside, I don't know what we're thinking. We cannot just run and go and be considered for another Jew. Just me. Inside the Bet Knesset, inside the shul. Small example. From here I see, we're just busy with ourselves. The guy's coughing, give it to him. Nobody runs. This busy with himself, this busy with himself. Everybody is busy. Yeah, Yosef, the guy came in and he did it after how many times? From here we see how much we are busy in our brains. We can't concentrate, we're only thinking about ourselves. The guy's coughing, give it to him. What does it take you to run? No. On myself, let him cough. That's his nature. Or we asking him for water. We're not thinking, guys, we're not thinking. I'm sorry to tell you. If we're not going to wake up, we're not thinking. Smallest thing, we're not thinking. If we're not going to do chesed, kindness for each Jew, what we're creating in this world? Smallest thing. I'm not talking about big. I'm not talking about people just who need to give and give and give. I'm talking about smallest thing. Rabbeinu Arashash, Rabbeinu Shalom Sharabi, his yortzeit is going to be on the 10th of the Shvat. Him and his students wrote the note, and everybody 10. None of us going to go to Gan Eden until all of us is going to get accepted to Gan Eden. And anything happens in a life, nobody, and this note is available. It's quote in the book of Rabbi Chaim de la Rosa, Torat Chacham, the way they made a note for themselves, shtar, to how much care for each other. You know what it says in Rabbeinu Ariya Kadosh, if many of you been on the Arizal? He didn't say nothing. It says in the Pasuk, in the Torah. In the Perek Yutet, Pasuk Yud Zayin, in Parashat Vayikra Kedushim. Ve'ahavta lerecha kamocha. That's what it says in his kever, in his, what you call it? In his grave. And we read this every morning. Ve'ahavta lerecha kamocha. He puts this, Arizal puts this lifnei, before we're going to start the prayer, we should care for another Jew like I care for myself. That's why I'm saying people just reading, Rabbi, I'm busy, I'm learning Gemara, Rabbi, I'm reading. You're not reading, you just absorb the sources of the information. You're an information guy. To feel the after kamocha, read the Gdolim, read the big rabbis. What they're saying about ve'afta lerecha kamocha. Bal Gaba kofer ba'ikar. This is one of the hardest topics in the whole Torah. A person has a Gaba, which just means each one of us. We have hoftiness, pride. He says somebody have a pride, kofer ba'ikar. He does not believe in Hashem. Tell me, please, each one of us sitting who could say, I don't have a pride. Pride could be in a house, in a business, between the brothers. Says somebody have a pride, kofer ba'ikar. What does it mean? Amru Chazal, kol adam yesh gasud ruach, koved avodah zara rachmana litzlan. He says somebody have gasud ruach gava. He's like doing idol worshiper. Docher ragle shchina. He's pushing the shchina away. והארי אומר, כופר ביקרא סוטה, כי כפי מה שאדם מחזיק את עצמו בעלים על גופו, ככה תחסר ליד ידיעה, אין עוד מלבדו. He says, the more person has a pride, the more he thinking, I'm my own man, which means I have nobody on top of me. I don't have no baalim. I have no boss. I'm my own boss. And he says in a verse, En od milvado. There's nobody except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If there's nobody except HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mamash hakol ke'efes ve'en. A person should think he's nobody. But the Baal HaTanya says no. If a person thinking is nobody, he's getting depressed. בצלם נברא את האדם, בצלם נברא אלוקים את האדם. Hashem created the human with his image. Hashem created us. There's a certain point you need to have a Gaba in a certain ways. ויגבה ליבו בדרכי השם. Mishle says, ויגבה ליבו בדרכי השם. When we're working for Hashem and has to do something with the Kedusha, with the holiness, we need to lift our hearts. We cannot say, I'm a humble. The Torah does not say no. Torah says, you need to go to war. Somebody going against the Torah, you need to go to war. See, we say, no, I'm not Gava, I'm Anav. Let them say whatever they want to, let them do whatever they want to do. It's okay. It's okay. Rahmanan litzlan. Let Hashem save us. Let Hashem save our Jewish nation. In America, in Israel, I saw the video yesterday, they sent me. Teachers right now in Eretz Israel, they say the gay and lesbians, they say it's okay, and they say to the students, they're not scared no more, and anybody is a gay and lesbian inside the class should come out and say, and should not be afraid, Ani ge'eh. Says, I'm proud of it. I'm talking about right now. They made this sirton, they made this video, and the teachers that's a gay and lesbians, they say we are proud of who we are, and let the students also be proud. Before they were afraid, now they're proud. Unfortunately, our kids sometimes go to public school, and that's what they're going to teach. The goyim, that's what they're going to teach. אין עוד מלבדו ממש כאפס. מה בעולם באדם, חוכמתו וידעתו, גופו ונפשו. He says, let's take all the חוכמה, all the wisdom of all the people, all the scientists. וכמו חוכמתו ידעתו, he knows everything in this world. גופו נפשו, he knows the body, he knows the soul. מחשבות תחבולות, he has all different type of minds, all different ideas. הכל השפע מהשם יתברך לכל בריאותיו אשר ברא. He says, everything we have to know, everything he does, and everything he did for me and the whole world. Masechet Sanhedrin, page 38. Chayav Adam lagid, ha'olam nivra bishvili. A person has to say, the world was created for me. So if the person has to say, the world was created for me, so let me enjoy this world. It's beautiful. Chazal says, no. This world was created for you in order for you to serve Hashem. לכל בריאותיו אשר ברא, מלאכים יודעים מרגישים זאת, לכן יראתם לפני השם יתברך הרבה מאוד. The angels know what we're saying. The angels know what we're saying, and the angels have afraid of Hashem. לכן יראתם מלפניו יתברך, ואדם נברא בכוח להבין כמו מלאך, אבל בו בפועל. He says a person has a mind like an angel, but you cannot put this in an actual. כפי חסרנו של אדם מידות לעומת זה יחסר בדיעה. זה עבודה זרה. The more person does not understand, it's mamash, it's like avodah zarah, idol worshiper, that person. We say, en od milvado, there's nothing besides Hashem. If there's nobody besides the Hashem, how come sometimes we go against Hashem? Willingly, unwillingly. Why are we doing it? איך עושים את זה? How come we doing it? Haminud bateva adam. How a person becomes minud. Minud, which means a person not believer. He says this is in our nature. Anachnu roim bachush ki adam tishkato lechofesh. He says we know from the nature of a person, he wants to be free. The more you give a freedom, the more a person becomes pere adam. He becomes worse than an animal. I'm sorry to say this. He becomes worse than an animal. Va'olam korim zot zuchiyot adam. The world calls this freedom of choice. Or you're in a free country. You do whatever you want to do. Akol osim. Everything, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you're not going to do what the Torah says. Everything, that's what the Torah says. והתורה גילתה לנו סוד כמוס ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי נכם במדבר ט"ו ל"ט. It says in a midbar, in a perek ט"ו, which means 15:39. Perek 15, pasuk 39. So it says every day, we say this every day. לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי נכם. We should not go according to our hearts and according to our eyes. Why we have to repeat this 2 times a day? One in the morning, one at night time. Why we have to repeat it? Why we have to repeat ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך? Why we have to repeat? Saba Mikelem says, why we have to repeat 2 times a day that I love Hashem? You know what we say, right? ואהבת את השם בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ולא תטור. We should not go according to our eyes, according to our heart, 2 times. Why not to do it once a month, like Rosh Chodesh? Once a year in a Rosh Hashanah. Why every day? Saba Mikelem says, if we love ourselves, we don't love Hashem. If we love Hashem, we love ourselves. Again, if we love ourselves, who is over here is going to say, I don't love myself? We all love ourselves. We are selfish individuals in many, many ways. If we love ourselves, he says you cannot love Hashem. There cannot be 2. Either you love Hashem or you don't love. There's no such thing. I love Him sometimes, I don't love Him sometimes. So he says, if you love Hashem, that means automatically you cannot exchange your love to your loving yourself. That means loving in Hashem is come first. That's why he says that we should not go according to our eyes, according to our hearts. Lamdu chazal lebavchem ze minud ve'enechem ze arayod. He says we should not go according to our eyes and according to our heart. Our sages say, lebavchem, talking about our hearts, za minud. He's the guy that goes against Hashem. Minud, which means he does not believe her. Ve'enechem ze arayod. He goes according to his eyes. He wants to have relationship, chas v'shalom, with other ladies. Like it says, Masechet Barachot, in page 12. Hagdama Torah minud la'arayot. Lechroa he says, why the Torah says minud, which means non-believer, to the arayot, which means having relationship with the woman. Why it first brings the not believer, then relationship with other woman. Lechroa מסגל יתר מטבע אדם, אלא ודאי דירה תורה תירש מהרעיון של מינות. פירוש, חופשי בלי לשאת עצמו עול מלכות שמיים. מינות, which means he does not want to take the burden of the heaven. Which means the mitzvot is very, very hard for a person to do. How many times I told you, Baruch Ata Hashem, Baruch Ata Hashem, Siman 5, Shulchan Aruch. Baruch Ata Hashem. Hashem, Haya Hove V'yeh. Elokeinu. Our God. Melech HaOlam. You are Melech, which means you are king of the world. I'm sorry that I'm talking to you. I'm talking just to myself. You tzaddikim over here. Everybody knows how to say Baruch Ata Hashem, Melech HaOlam, Elokeinu, our God. Do we think like this? One time think through the prayer, your life gonna change. Your thinking gonna change. But unfortunately, sometimes אנחנו רצים. We are flying out, flying, we want to fly. At least say the barachot properly. Baruch Ata Hashem. Elokeinu, our God. Melech haolam, you are what? You are Melech, you are King of the world. And we the King of the King, we the kids of the King of the world. Who is thinking like this in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning? We need to thank everybody, Baruch Hashem. If you would think like this, next day you would not wake up the way you wake up today. If you're really thinking, you're never going to do the same mitzvot the way you do it. If you're really thinking. But you're doing it so quick. There's rabbi, I call them genius. Very rarely where I call the rabbi genius. His name is Rabbi Ephraim Goldstein. Mordechai, you hear me? You could go to his... No. Rabbi Ephraim Goldstein from Brooklyn. I met him about 15 years ago. He finished in his father's yahrzeit all Shas. He knows all the Torah. Bavli, Yerushalmi, Sefer Yitzhak, Etz HaChaim, Pri Etz Chaim. He knows Harashash, he knows Balatanya. Everything. You know how fast he speaks? He speaks so fast, not everybody able to catch him, unless you're a big Talmid Chacham. You know how many minutes he prays Shmona Esrei Harashash, Mr. Mordechai? 7 minutes. 100 pages, he does 7 minutes. That's called genius. Baruch Hashem, all of you, probably more than him. You do within 6 minutes the whole Sidur HaRashash. You have such a genius brain. So it says, אלא ודאי ידיעת תורה יש מרעיון מינות. פירוש חופשי בלי לשאת עצמו על מלכות שמיים. מזה יהיה הדבר כל האיסור. אין ארי נוהה מתוך הקופה של התבן, אלא מתוך קופה של הבשר. He says, how can you satisfy the lion? He says, you cannot satisfy the lion with a straw. Straw, which just means little straw that the sheep eats. What do you need to give him? You need to give him meat. The only way a lion will be satisfied, only through the meat. ואחרי הקדמת תורה מינות, הזהירו כל ישראל כולם מגדולים ועד קטנים. The Torah tells us be careful. Minut, which just means somebody not believer, from the oldest to the youngest. אלא שלא תטור אחרי מינות הפותח באדם. He says minut, which just means not believer, it's part of our nature. טבע אדם, חובה על כל ישראל להחזיק תמיד באמונה. He says we must every day do emunah. Every day emunah. תמיד emunah. ואם יתרגל בזה, what if a person gonna get used to the emunah? ימצא תמיד מחושות לחזק באמונה. If a person really understands what's emunah, he's all the time becomes more stronger and stronger and better. גם בעוונות הרבים בדור הזה אשר רבו כמו רבו סופרי מינות ואפיקורסות. He says in our times there's so many books. Saba Mikelim talking about 200 years ago. We're not talking about right now with all the social media. Social media are gonna make you so busy with all the apps. When it comes to Torah, you guys are falling asleep. When it comes to the social media, 3 hours pass by, you're still up. 1 o'clock in the morning, you're up, you're still up. You're looking and punching and this and this. You're going to say another minute, another 2 minutes, another 3 minutes, another 4 minutes. 1 o'clock in the morning. Phone call comes in, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. The ring, no one is home, please call back. Somebody texts me in 1 week, Rabbi, I'm sorry, I was too busy. After 1 week. I called him in the morning. It's after 1 week. It takes 1 week to get back. The telephone battery finished to 1 o'clock. Minut va'apikorsut, atrabut, de'od nifsadot. He says a lot of people, he says their brains are already shot. And that's what we see in this generation. The brains are shot. Why it's shot? Because we have so much impurity inside the brains when we watch. We're all the time watching. 2 minutes video here, 3 minutes video here, 2 minutes video here, 3 minutes video here. We come to the shiur, when it comes to the prayer, people with the phones. Thank God, it's so early in this minyan, people were not with the phones. Thank God, it's because too early. Nobody is up unless they're in Eretz Israel. But we see in other Hashem Yirachem, in other Bet Knesset, Lo Chas V'Shalom Kitruk, God forbid, we should not talk about Jewish people bad on the phone. How can you concentrate? How can you concentrate in learning? How can you concentrate in a prayer? There's no concentration. And a person is continuing. Rabbi, it's okay. Rabbi, we're trying. You're not trying. Who told you you're trying? Trying, which just means you get rid of the Yetzer Hara. That's called trying. אחר כך חובה מוטלת כל ישראל לחזק אמונה, אבל יאמר אדם מאמין אני ואינו צריך. Most of the people will say, I believe, I don't need it. I know everything. I went to the shul before you were even born. You know what he says? ואל יאמר אדם מאמין אני ואינו צריך. He says, I'm a believer, I don't need it. הלא ראיות ייתנו עדיהם ויצדקו להבין הדבר. He says, I brought you all the rayonot. I brought you all the ideas, examples, how we must להתחזק באמונה. Strong and powerful. Baruch Hashem, people come more and more to shurim. You want to come? Bring your friends, your relatives, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters. Emunah is not only for men. Emunah for men and women. Some people say, no, my kids cannot come. Give them shochad, bribe them. You're going to have a pasuk, v'alchu acharei Hashem. We run after the God. Imagine I'm going to tell you right now, somebody have a bar mitzvah in a shul. And how are you going to bring your kids to bar mitzvah? What are they going to eat? Food? What are they going to do? Dance? Mitzvah? Mitzvah to do bar mitzvah? Mitzvah to learn Torah every second, every moment. Do we bring them to bar mitzvah, our kids? Yes. Do we bring them to the parties, birthday parties? Yes. How come when it comes to shiur, they're too busy, the kids? There's no such thing. Bribe them. Rishit Chochmah says 500 years ago, don't forget this. The book was written by Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, that was his teacher, of Rishit Chochmah. Rishit Chochmah says, the more child grows, the more you need to bribe him. Buy him a belt, buy him a beautiful suit, buy him a wife. I'm talking about 500 years ago, I'm not talking about right now. Generation, we don't do it. Why we don't do it? Because we don't think it's so important. If we wouldn't think so important, bribe him from every corner that we're able to do shelo lishma. He's able to learn not for sake of Hashem, because you bribe him. But afterwards he would do for the sake of Hashem. We have to do it. That's what it comes to. ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריכם. The Chazal explained to us we should not run after our eyes and after hearts. ואמרו חז"ל אחרי לבבכם זה מינות ואחרי עיניכם זה עריות. He says, do not run after your hearts, that you become kofir, not believer. אחרי עיניכם, that you run after the woman. That's arayot. כיוון לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, זה מינות נאמר אצל ולא תטורו אחרי עיניכם. בוודאי שיקולים הם. רוצה לומר טבע אדם נוטה בוודאי למינות. He says, a nature of the person, we're talking about now sicknesses in ourselves. The nature of the person to be not believer. Minut, that's the nature of the person. That's the shortish, which just means that's the essence of the person, the nature of the person, to be not to be believer. Somebody says, I'm believer 100%, don't believe him. You know why? Because he never learned what's his nature. He never learned how he was created. And most of us, we didn't learn how we created. The Chazal explained to us the nature of the person. כמו שאנו רואים מכל האדם, שכבד עליו לא יכול לשאת עליו שום עול. He says, you know, most of the people would say, whatever it says in the Torah, it's too heavy on me. How many of us we heard, we're going to do in our level everything that you want to do? My own level. Who said this, your level is right? Levels, there's a certain levels, yes. In the Torah there's levels. But there's a law, so we have to do it every day. It's a law. We must do it. There's no such thing as we're not going to do it. If we're not going to do it, we're going to get punished. לולא היה טבע מסכים את האמונה, לא היה מממש בטבע בכל עול, היה מוסיף מוקיף בעול השם, מכל הצד. If a person keep working on his emunah, he's keep going to add the burden of the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is mean the weight of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be on us, if we're going to learn about emunah. Very important, and this could be must. Every day we have to learn about emunah. If we're not going to learn about emunah, after 120 you're going to come in, you're going to say, Hashem, please give me reward. Kol hakavod lecha. And chas v'shalom, you end up somewhere you don't want to end up. But you say, listen, I did mitzvot, I did couple stuff. The first thing is HaKadosh Baruch Hu yiftach lecha, open. Did you know Shulchan Aruch from beginning and end? I don't even know what's a Shulchan Aruch. I went to Bet Knesset, we just prayed 3 times. We ate Baruch Hashem by your side, we ate food and we left. But anybody learn Shulchan Aruch? No. What's a Shulchan Aruch? Shulchan Aruch is the laws of Hashem. Did you learn it? Listen, Hashem, I was busy. Excuse me. Did you go to wedding for 5 hours, mixed wedding? Yes, I did. What did you do for 5 hours? Nothing, running around, mingling, talking over here, there, talking some business. You had all this time to waste, zorkim et hachaim, throwing our life, but you had no time. There's a Bet Knesset in each corner, Baruch Hashem, in Queens, in the whole United States. There's no places where you could go and learn. There's a places you could go learn, but you said you did not have time. You fall asleep in a shiur. But in a wedding, you didn't fall asleep. Because it's too excitement, the eyes are so busy. So much food, look at what I'm going to do with it. I give money and that's it. I paid whatever it is. Except for Mordechai, he's a tzaddik over here. He's doing with a finger like this. He's the only one that does not do that. Right. Emnam, לכן הזהירו תורה, לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, לא תשתנו וניצחו על הטבע הנוטה תמיד למינות. He says we're supposed to be all the time win and be powerful over our desires with the nature that we have. The nature that we have, we always want to get river Hashem from our side. That's the nature. That's the nature of humans. That's a chidush for me too. That's something new that I learned. כמו עיניים נוטד להיות חופשים. It's like our eyes, they're always traveling. The eyes are traveling all the times. וזה בחוש. We see this. We see the eyes are all the time traveling. והעניין נורא ומבהיל מאוד. He says this is very scary what I'm saying. Very, very scary. אמנם כל זה לא יוודע אדם רק אחרי שיבחין וניסה את עצמו מה הוא יכול, מה אינו יכול. He says the only way a person would know what he's able to do and what he's not able to do. Again, we have to know what we're able to do, what you're not capable to do. I'm going to just share some thoughts with you. There was a time in my life where I have to take a shower within 45 seconds. Not 15 minutes. When I came there, I said, it's impossible. Passed by 3 months, not only 45 seconds, 30 seconds I'm able to take a shower. Shower we're talking about. If you soaped in and you didn't take it properly, you come out with the soap and just wipe the soap and that's it, no more water. It's possible. From there I learned everything is possible. Everything. I'm talking about one part of the things that I'm talking about to you guys. You know what means 45-second shower? Go time it. Time it yourself, guys. In the beginning, I thought it's impossible. Possible. Everything is possible. That's what the Saba Mekelim says. If I would have never went through it, I would have said, it's impossible. It is possible. Humans have so much power and so much strength, we're just lazy. We're used to. It's nice, it's warm, Baruch Hashem. Everything is great, the AC is over here, the heat is over here, you have a water, Baruch Hashem, you have everything. All we have to do is come. But even we come, we're too tired already. So it says over here, מה הוא לכאורה אי אפשר לו, כי מי שלא ניסה מגביל את העיניו, לא יסתכל מארבע אמות וחוץ עליהם, לא ידע בשום אופן, זה אי אפשר לעשות, כיוון ציבור תנועתם הם ברשותו. He says if a person needs to work on himself, if he's going to guard his eyes and he's going to say, I'm only looking with the 2 feet distance. If he's going to guard his eyes with the 2 feet distance, if he never try, how does he know? He does not know how to do it. He never tried. You know how I know we could do it, everybody? Sometimes you have people coming to this minyan. Summer and winter they change. Summer it's a 4 o'clock, winter it's a 6, 7 o'clock. People never pray in their life every day. One of the hardest things to do. And they come, they break the nature, and they're able to pray nets during the summer and the winter, you change time, they're able to do it. What made them to do it? Chas v'shalom, either mother or father passed away. Now they need to come, they must come. They must come. So how they do it? They break them. That means it's possible. Everything is possible. It just, we want it. Is it true? That's what it says in Shulchan Aruch, or it's not true? Do we believe it or we don't believe it? If we believe it, sick, not sick, whatever it is. When I broke my foot, I'm sorry to tell you this. When I broke my foot, I was dancing with the soft cast with the 1 foot. It's possible. With the 1 foot. Dancing, not just walking. Possible. Do we want it? No, I can't. I'm too lazy. I can't, Rabbi. It's too hard. You know, you don't understand kids. You know how many kids I have? I have only 2. And Baruch Hashem, your kids are grew. You don't know what does it mean, kids. Nachon. Only you know. You guys know. Nobody else. Our life is not life. Our mortgage is not mortgage. Everybody have. We have to put effort. And we have to put ratzon. Ratzon, which just means desire, will. The true, if we with Hashem true, is going to be with true. Be'ezrat Hashem, may Hashem give us barakah, tzlacha, sason v'simcha. I'm sorry that I speak in front of you. Over here, kulam kedushim, kulam tohorim. Everybody over here, tzaddikim, hasidim, whatever the Musar says, I said it for myself, not for you guys. Everybody knows how to la'avod Hashem yitbarach over here. Everybody talmidei chachamim. You lomdim yomam v'layla. So be'ezrat Hashem should give us Mashiach tzidkenu v'chen yiratzon v'nomar amen. רבי חנניה בן הקדשה אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל, לפיכך הרבה להם תורה ומצוות, שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר.